Keith, just before we get on to the game, any team news? James Vaughan, for example, how's he?
Uh, no team news really. He's obviously progressing. He's feeling more and more comfortable. And he'll be assessed on a daily basis before the weekend.
I know you've spoken a lot about the threat that you've got in your side at the moment, but how pleasing was the clean sheet? Because the clean sheets are going to be just as important as the goals at this stage of the season, I suppose.
No, goals are more important. I heard somebody say, an experienced manager who's fighting relegation, that clean sheets are more important than scoring goals. Well, they are if you want a point, but if you want 3 points, you have to score goals. So we're getting the balance right. The clean sheet ratio is really good with respect to the league games that we've played. And we've been defending really well. I thought we were very unfortunate not to get a clean sheet at Leyton Orient, but we backed it up with an outstanding clean sheet against Newport because it was needed. We got the one goal. It was a very tight game. And in those tight games, clean sheets are very, very important.
And you were talking after the game the other night about how it's still a long journey. You've got 15 games to go, 45 points, but you almost have to. Do you have to keep a lid on the excitement that among maybe the players? I don't know about the situation you're in, or do you use it as a positive?
You've got to be positive in all your actions and the way you portray yourself during the week as a player, as a member of staff. But it's emotional. It's a very stable group of players. They don't get too excited. There's a lot of experience in there, but they're very grounded, very humble, brilliant to work with. And we haven't got too excited about any victory. We tried to nullify the, celebrations. We slightly celebrated, obviously, in the semi-final because we'd reached the major final. But then it was back to the processes of preparing for the next game. So we're working with a very, very good squad of players who are emotionally very grounded. And that's helping us prepare for the games on an individual basis. Nothing's been won yet. And I don't like the pressure of suggestion because we all know in football, moments change your fortunes within a game and then within a run of games. You just got to look at clubs like Carlisle who've lost that, and they call it momentum. I don't. I call it action. Positive action. And they've just lost that at this moment in time. And we're very mindful that we have to be respectful of what we're doing, but the opponents as well, because we don't want to lose that feeling that we've got at this moment in time.
And your opponents this time, Crawley, are a case in point, I suppose, in the fact that, they're 7 points off the playoffs. And yes, I think they've got a game in hand on some of the teams above them. And there's still enough time for them to make a push as well. And this was a point we were making about Leyton Orient and Carlisle and all these teams that you've been playing recently.
Well, I think everybody's got an outside chance. But the games are ebbing away now. We're in the running down of games. The first 23 games of the season, they're very important of giving yourself an opportunity to create. But that doesn't mean that the teams who haven't been successful in the first 23 games can't raise a challenge. And with the situation that we're in with COVID, the pandemic, the game after the game, it's relentless. Preparation, playing, preparation, rest, recuperation, playing. You're looking to string together, positive results, points on the board, and we're getting that. And it's important that we remain humble in our approach, remain focused, and you can never look too far in front of yourself in sports. So the next game is Crawley. Their fortunes have differed, throughout the course of the season, but we're dealing with the right here, right now, Crawley. The team that previously played against Morecambe during the week, and a couple of 3 games before that. So we're preparing ourselves for that Crawley. We're not preparing ourselves for Crawley league position, previously played Crawley. We're preparing ourselves for the Crawley that we know right here, right now.
Is it mainly rest and recuperation almost at the moment in between games, Keith? Because there's so many games at the moment. I mean, is it difficult to actually get onto the training ground in a sustained period of time to work on things, or are you basically trying to just keep everything quiet, if you like, physically for the players?
You're right in respect of, the key players who are playing 90 minutes twice weekly. You know, they're getting a lot of rest, recuperation, preparation. The rest of the lads, we're trying to get them up to speed. They're getting valuable minutes as substitutes, but there will be times when they need to be ready. So it's about making sure that those players are training ground ready, but mentally they're prepared to step in to the style, the characteristics of the way that we're playing. And we're fortunate at this moment in time that while we're winning games, while we're in positive equity, it's easier to prepare those players for when they're needed. And when we're talking about needed, it's not always starting a game, it's finishing a game as a substitute, but the mental preparations going on the training pitch, in the classroom, and just supporting the nucleus of the starting 11.